I'm Lee and welcome. This is going to be a rather long video about my love and hate relationship that I have with Sky, Children of the Light, and I'll be discussing the positives and negatives of this game. I've been playing for 3 years, but there have been an accumulation of things that have really made me consider quitting Sky. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but some issues that I've encountered in the game recently have really annoyed me again, and that has given me the push to make this and share all of my thoughts on the game. There's a lot to get into, but before I talk about Sky, I think it's important to add some context to how and why I started playing this game. So, before Sky was released, I had played the Journey Collector's Edition on the PlayStation 4. This was a bundle pack of 3 games that included Flow, Flower and Journey, and these are developed by an independent dev company called Thatgamecompany. Throughout this video, I will be shortening this name to TGC. Flow, a game where you can play as one of 5 bioluminescent creatures and swim alongside other creatures, exploring, evolving and surviving in a deep abyss, was a rather simple and relaxing game where you could play at your own pace. Flower is an artistic game where players control the wind and blows a single flower petal through the air. When you approach groups and lines of flowers, this causes petals to bloom, and you accumulate more petals and changes are made to the environment of the game world. This focused on evoking emotions and was another relaxing game. My favourite out of the 3 games was Journey. I absolutely love this game. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, and it's a game everyone must play. Journey is an anonymous adventure where you travel on a life's passage with the goal of reaching the top of a mountain. You experience a mysterious world where ruins of a secret civilization lay in beautiful landscapes. You also have the chance to connect with companions along the way and experience the journey together. The graphics and art style of this game are just beautiful. The way it tells the story through gameplay, music, and visual-only cutscenes as you go on your journey up the mountain is incredible. The soundtrack, composed by Austin Wintory, is really good. The music is a very important part of the game because it triggers different emotions and you get the feeling of the theme for each section as you are travelling through them. There was a multiplayer element that would have you come across other players going on the journey too. This allowed you to connect with them by exploring together throughout the sections and communicate only by making a honking or call sound. There was no way to chat to them by sending a message or using a microphone. If you managed to complete the journey together, it made the experience very special. It's like you make a unique connection with them. At the end of the game, the gaming tags of those players you had played with would be displayed, so you can choose to take the name down and drop them a message if you wanted to. I played this game whilst I was trying to overcome depression and focusing on looking after my mental well-being, and I came out of this game feeling very hopeful and positive. It really made me think about my journey in life. It will always be a special game to me. I replayed Journey many times to unlock the white robe and all the PlayStation trophies, and I couldn't wait for what TGC would release next. In July 2019, TGC released Sky on the Apple iOS for free. I was disappointed because I really wanted to play Sky, but I didn't want to play on my mobile. I was also confused to why they had moved from console to mobile, but back then, I didn't really do any research into the game, like read articles or reviews. I actually downloaded it onto my iPhone when it was released, but I never opened the app. I only downloaded it just in case it went from being free to paid. To be fair, I was willing to pay for TGC's next game, so I was a bit surprised it was free. So I forgot about it, hoping it would get a console release. 2 years later, it was eventually released on the Nintendo Switch in June 2021. As I had a Switch, I downloaded it on the day of release, but started playing it a couple of days after because I was busy. Sky is an open-world adventure MMO where you explore a kingdom across 7 realms, meeting and creating memories with other players. As you navigate the realms, you'll find and relive spirits' memories. After completing these memories, you'll unlock their given expressions and access to their trees, where you can further unlock items such as cosmetics and instruments. On your journey, you will find many children of light scattered around the realms. These look like shining yellow children, and you can collect these to level up your cape, which gives you more wing energy and the ability to fly longer. You can lose the wing lights you have collected if you are attacked by the dark dragons or you lose your flame in the rain, for example. When this happens, wing lights will exit your avatar, which you have to be quick to recollect. Otherwise, you'll have to go searching for the wing lights again as they return to their location. You will bring these lights to the Eye of Eden, which is your main destination at the top of a mountain. Initially, I remember doing some of the spirit memories, and it seemed very simple and I didn't find it engaging. Visually, the game looked beautiful. I was playing handheld, so I don't think that helped with it being on a smaller screen. I wasn't fully immersed. So I put the game down and didn't log in again until maybe 2 weeks later. This time I put the Switch in docked mode so I could get a better experience. I found this a better way to play the game, and after getting through all the realms, this was where I decided that I wanted to complete the constellations to 100%, then like with any other game, draw a line and move on from the game. I managed to complete one playthrough, and my impressions were that the story was very similar to Journey, where you go on a journey up a mountain, then at the end you are reborn. After completing Eden, it didn't hit emotionally like how Journey did. It just felt like Journey 2.0, but not as good because it seemed familiar. I didn't think the story was as good as Journey's, but I found the graphics or art style and the music very good and pleasing. I really liked the flying especially. I think it's executed very well. Also, the dark dragons or krill, the rain in Hidden Forest and the red rocks in Eden added a stronger element of fear than what you experienced in Journey, so this made it a bit more challenging. As I started my journey to complete the constellation and to collect all the winged lights, I found myself going back through the realms to do the spirit memories from the previous seasons. There were 9 seasons to catch up on, which was a bit overwhelming. I ended up trying to do the Season of Assembly quests and soon got stuck because when I was waiting for players to join me in the quests where you need 3 or more players, I could never get the 3 players to help. This is probably the first issue I had with Sky, as I couldn't progress. After some searching on Google, this led me to sign up to Discord and join Sky's official Discord server. I was pretty nervous to ask for help because I'm kind of a shy and introverted person. I've never done anything like this before online, but I really wanted to complete this game, so I found the courage to leave a message in the server, and straight away I got a reply from someone willing to help. From that day forward, I was sucked into playing Sky every day. I figured out that I needed a lot of friends to lie at me in the constellation every day in order to gain hearts. I started to make a lot of friends with people through Discord, as well as friend players in-game. Some friends I made on Discord were Ubers. If you don't know what I mean by Ubers, these are players that are willing to help others in the game by taking them on candle runs, winged light runs, or help with any other quests or spirits. They normally have a good knowledge of the game too. I found myself joining up with the same Ubers every day, and I eventually ended up becoming good friends with them. They taught me all the tips and tricks, going out of bounds, chibi falling, and explained what travelling spirits were. I didn't even realise at the time why there was a rose outside the realms at home, as I was more focused on the base game than the seasonal content at the time. I was told it was the season of the Little Prince, and was given all the details in what you need to do to unlock cosmetics and items. They taught me how the in-game economy worked. This is where you have to light candles that are scattered around each realm in order to gather light, or alternatively called wax. And when you collect a certain amount of light, you can forge a regular candle. The game has a chevron system that was introduced before the game's release on the Nintendo Switch in order to reduce the time spent farming light. There are 3 chevrons on the candle meter, and after each time a candle is forged, the chevrons will shorten in width, then be reduced by 1 when 5, 10, and 15 candles worth of light is collected. When 20 candles are collected, the candle will turn grey. At reset each day, this is refreshed and the chevrons are reset, and you get to keep any leftover light that you had collected the previous day. The amount of light you need to forge a candle changes with the more you collect, so it will take 94 pieces of light to forge the first 5 candles, then it takes 139 pieces of light to forge the next 5 candles, then 178 for the next 5, and then the amount needed gradually increases for each candle after the 16th. These candles act as your in-game currency, and you can spend them on unlocking cosmetics and items from the constellations, traveling spirits, making friends, and developing your friendship tree. I'd like to note that there is some basic information that can be found within the game that briefly goes into what you can do in Sky. If you go into the main menu and click on the help icon, you will be forwarded to Sky's website where there is detailed explanations of everything. Sometimes it is best to look online where there is a dedicated wiki for the game, and also you can find communities with Discord servers that are dedicated to Sky. You can learn a lot from YouTube as well, so these provide really good information too. There are ascended candles that can be gained from completing Eden. You have to deposit the wing lights that you have collected from around the realms into statues, and when you are in orbit, you can gain a max of 15 ascended candles depending on the amount of statues you gave your light to. These special candles allow you to unlock the Elder Masks in orbit, which become available after you complete each of the realm's constellation tree. Also, these candles are needed to unlock higher tiers of friendship trees and gain permanent wing buffs from traveling spirits. These traveling spirits are from previous seasons and visit randomly every 2 weeks. Hearts are another currency that can be gained and used to unlock items. You can collect light sent to you each day from your friends in the constellation. This works similar to the candle forging system where it fills up a heart meter, and when it reaches the top, you can forge a heart. You could gain 1 heart from getting 10 lakhs at a daily meditation stone and 50 lakhs at a gratitude meditation stone. Upon completing season quests, the quest giver will give you a heart, sometimes for free or at the expense of 3 regular candles. Regular spirits have a heart in their tree for players to purchase using 3 regular candles too. So I gradually fell into the daily pattern of doing candle runs and dailies with friends in order to complete the constellation, to unlock items and cosmetics from both traveling spirits and spirits in the current ongoing season. What I love about the game is meeting new people from across the world and learning about their cultures. The majority of the Sky community are very kind and helpful. The game welcomes everyone, regardless of their background. It requires consent to like players, so you can see what other players' avatars fully look like, and then you can choose to spend a candle to friend them. You can continue spending candles to unlock their friendship trees, where you can unlock emotes and the ability to text chat. You can choose to play on your own or make as many friends as you want, and you have the ability to hold hands and do piggybacks. I really appreciate spending time with the friends that I've made, exploring the realms and talking whilst on candle runs with them. Experiencing the cycle of the game with friends made it better too. It was great to run Eden and complete the ending together, to witness their reactions and get their thoughts. Each time was unique, and I made some good memories. I find it relaxing to fly around and explore the environments. Sometimes I do this alone and sometimes with friends. When you first play the game, you're not exactly sure where you are going, as you are free to explore and find your own way. Sometimes this felt daunting, especially trying to navigate through Hidden Forest and Golden Wasteland without losing any winged light. You can get a bit lost in some areas trying to find where other areas are located. The beauty of this game is that you can always go back and explore each realm. You are free to do whatever you want. The music composed by Vincent Diamante is great. The graphics are beautiful, it's very colourful, and I really don't mind that the game has simple graphics. It reminded me of games like Abzu and Rime. The flying is graceful, it feels really good to fly and glide around environments. TGC really nailed the flying in this game. You can unlock musical instruments to play, along with music sheets, so you can practice playing music, or even play your own songs and put on performances. Other friends can follow along and play at the same time, so it's possible to form a little band. This adds creativity and it can be really relaxing to play and listen to songs. I really love seeing how other players react in the game, how they use their emotes to express their emotions, and all the other little random things you see them do. I love it when I see a Sky Kid do funny actions. You can experience some wonderful fleeting moments. One example that happens regularly is that you find a random Sky Kid playing an instrument really well in the middle of nowhere, and it's nice to sit down and listen. It's very relaxing, and afterwards you can use an emote to show your appreciation, and they most likely acknowledge you with a bow or a kiss. You don't even have to spend a candle to become friends, or become an acquaintance with them by lighting them up so you can see what they are wearing. You can just appreciate the moment and move on. I always think that these small connections and interactions can be so impactful and meaningful. You never know, maybe you gave that player some positivity in their life that they needed. It does feel good when another player shows their love for the piece of music that I played. I love all the different emotes, and there's a wide range you can use to express yourself. These emotions are universal, which allows players across the world to communicate and understand each other without any language barriers. I have a lot of fun spamming the blow kiss emote when saying goodbye or when showing your thanks to friends. You can change the sound of your call to sound like one of many creatures in the game, and also change stances, which can reveal something about your avatar's personality. There are really cool looking cosmetics that allow players to express themselves in any way they choose. At first, my avatar was male, but I personally found that many of the feminine cosmetics were better looking than the masculine cosmetics, so I mainly choose to dress as a female. What I have found in Sky is that players don't judge you at all. Everyone I've met has been wonderful and friendly. However, after my first 2 to 3 months of doing daily candle runs to collect the maximum amount of candles you can forge in a day, which would take up to 2 to 3 hours depending on if you talk a lot with friends, along with running Eden every week and doing winged light runs, I soon began feeling burnt out, the irony, and it was becoming very repetitive and tedious. I hated the grind. I felt like I wasn't making much progress in the constellations, which was very disheartening. The main reason I was running every day to get the max candles was because of the random travelling spirit that visits every 2 weeks. These are spirits from previous seasons that arrive Thursday and leave at reset time on Monday morning. I got the FOMO, which is short for the fear of missing out, as I wanted the travelling spirit cosmetics and upgraded emotes. As these spirits visit randomly every 2 weeks, you may not see them again for a very long time, so I was spending the candles I had collected over the past 2 weeks on these spirits, which meant that I couldn't make much progress in completing the constellations. These limited timed visits create the FOMO, thus giving you the ultimatum to run for candles or leave it and go without. So you end up getting stuck in a loop. You farm, spend your candles, then repeat. The candle forging system didn't really reduce the amount of time farming light, it just makes getting the first 5 easier and quicker. There were a few specific travelling spirits that hadn't visited yet, and many players were eagerly waiting for them. The randomness creates uncertainty because you want to save your candles so that you have enough for a specific spirit with the cosmetics you really want. but also you want to spend candles on the current TS2. You also start to worry after you spent them because you are low on candles and need to find the time to candle run in the next 2 weeks. The TS is revealed a couple of days on social media before they visit, so you get an idea of who is visiting, but up until that reveal, you would have been farming anyway because you need a good amount to unlock their cosmetics. As a new player to Sky, you have to grind much more for candles in order to get cosmetics from the travelling spirits. You are basically trying to catch up with all the previous seasons, and there are so many spirits now. This seems like a punishment to new players that have joined the game after the past seasons. If you were playing Sky when the seasons were originally released, you don't have to grind for candles that much because you most probably had collected the majority of the spirits items using the seasonal candles. If you had missed any or only played for free and missed out on getting the cosmetics locked behind the season pass, then you would still need to do some grinding compared to those that have paid for the season pass. To give you an idea of how much total cosmetics costs, travelling spirits can range from needing 87 candles to 251 candles to purchase what they offer, and between 0 to 19 hearts for upgraded emotes. 2 ascended candles are needed to gain a permanent wing buff and to unlock the second half of the spirit's tree, which the cape, pants, instruments and upgraded emotes are. In between some of the nodes in the tree are spells, which are compulsory to get if you wish to unlock items further up in the tree. So in order to afford the travelling spirits and maybe get 1 or 2 things in the constellation, I needed to candle run every day to forge 20 candles. That's around 300 candles in 2 weeks. Not only are there travelling spirits, but Sky has many events throughout the year that has unique cosmetics to purchase, like an event cape would cost around 70 candles. This adds to the pressure of trying to save your candles. The gameplay loop creates an unhealthy gaming habit. I would say it can cause addiction and anxiety from the pressure, which I don't think is good for anyone, especially for younger gamers. The never-ending nature and mechanics of MMOs encourages continuous play and increases the risk of addiction. In general, players log into Sky to relax and escape the real world, and there are many vulnerable individuals that play Sky, especially those that have traits such as anxiety, low self-esteem, or suffer from depression. These players are at risk of developing addiction. I fall under this, so I have to be very aware of how I played this game. I could say that I was addicted because I wouldn't feel satisfied if I didn't forge 20 candles a day and weren't able to unlock the cosmetics I wanted. If you think that you are suffering from any of these problems, I do encourage you to find professional help and talk to someone. Even if it's chatting to a friend can help. Your mental well-being is important. Please don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. We are all humans and deserve to be happy. So yeah, it's actually sad to see players all doing the same thing when they log in. They start their dailies and do their candle runs. You actually see many do the same route as you. I could see this deterring players from meeting and helping others in the game. If you log in with the plan to forge a certain amount of candles within the limited time you can be online for, then you may not want to stop or slow down to help, otherwise you won't achieve your goal and leave you dissatisfied. There have been many times a player has wanted help doing a spirit, but I ignore them because the spirit is too long and I don't have time. Personally, I think this gameplay loop has made me create a negative experience for that player who wanted help, and makes me and players who do ignore others look a bit selfish and unfriendly. I feel bad afterwards because I've been in their place too, but I also understand that we don't have to help everyone that we see. Another point regarding the cosmetics: when you're a new player, you will see other players that have been playing longer than you wearing cooler outfits, and you do get a bit envious. It makes you want to unlock items so that you don't look like a noob in your brown cape, basic hairstyle and pants. I can see this adding pressure to some players. The game's economy and design encourages players to spend their time in the game collecting wax so they can afford the upcoming cosmetics they want next. This breeds negative gameplay. Players are reluctant to spend their candles to make friends or upgrade their friendship trees because they need to save candles. I've seen many times players refusing to become friends or even accepting to unlock a node that is higher up in the tree because it's expensive. It makes us feel guilty for accepting these gestures because we are all in the same boat and know the struggle of trying to save candles. If they really want to become friends, they would arrange to send a code through Discord so they can friend them for free and get chat unlocked. Some players don't have Discord, which means a possible friendship could be lost. I don't understand why the costs to unlock emotes in the friendship tree are so expensive too. I would like to see them lowered. The system of spending candles to unlock emotes can show how much you value a friendship, but this creates the choice of whether to spend them on your friendships or with the possibility of missing out on unlocking a cosmetic when the TS comes. Also, if you want to unlock friendships with many other players, this will become very costly and barely leave you with any candles, which leads to players not wanting to develop their friendship trees. In general, I think players will opt to save candles for cosmetics, and those with plenty of candles have the majority of cosmetics already or just don't care about collecting cosmetics, and thus will be happy to unlock the friendship tree. Players always want faster and easier ways to gain wax. At a particular time, there were these social areas in Sky where wax was spat out slowly and you could collect it as you chill with friends. But this quickly turned into players going AFK in these areas so they could collect wax without having to do candle runs. I even resorted to this at one point because I didn't have time to do daily candle runs for 2 hours a day. It takes away the stress and frees up time. A lot of players are either studying or have jobs, so their spare time is limited. Players going AFK made the servers of 8 smaller, limiting the active amount of players in the server, which leads to less interaction. Also, my friends would say hi when I was AFK, and I'm not sure if they knew that I was farming, so they possibly may have thought that I was ignoring them. Really, this isn't good for the game. I was finding it very hard to gain hearts too. The constellation seemed impossible to complete. This forced me to trade hearts with other players, but a lot of players are low on candles. Some players don't have the time to collect 20 candles a day. It costs 3 candles to send 1 heart per friend a day, but these candles are precious if you want to save for the next travelling spirit. If you are a player that wants to collect and complete everything, then you would need to spend a massive amount of your time playing this game. A couple of examples of how many hearts are required to complete a realm. Vault needs 155 and Golden Wasteland needs 142. The tier 2 capes aren't necessary to get 100%, but I see them as part of the game, so I wanted to unlock these too. The cost of these are wild. You are looking at 150 each for the black and white cape, 120 for the pink cape, and 90 for the purple cape. I could barely get any hearts to unlock items lower down in the constellation, yet alone these. To gain hearts, I either needed to trade with friends, get 10 likes on your note at the daily quest meditation stone, or get 50 likes on your note at the normal gratitude meditation stones that can be found in areas across the realms. On Discord, there were unofficial servers dedicated to Sky, and within these communities, they would have a large group of players that organize note hunts so that they can like each other's notes to reach the 50 likes needed to get a heart. Having to organize these different ways to gain hearts through another platform shows that the game's economy isn't working. Being a free-to-play game, of course there are the options to spend your real money to buy candles and hearts. This leads me into the costs of in-app purchases, which I think are very expensive in my opinion. Let's go through what you can get and for what price in the UK. A starter pack that consists of 15 candles, 5 hearts and a cape is at a special price of 4.99 GBP. For Switch players, The starter pack contains 2 themed capes that are red and blue, an elvish hairstyle, a vessel flute, and 75 candles for $29.99. You can buy 15 candles for $4.99, 30 candles plus 5 hearts for $9.99, 60 candles plus 12 hearts for $19.99, and 150 candles plus 40 hearts for $49.99. Seasons are available for all players to participate in. Free-to-play players can unlock some cosmetics using season candles they can collect each day, but will need to purchase a season pass to be able to obtain everything. With each new season, you can purchase a season pass at $9.99 or a bundle at $19.99, which includes 2 extra gift pass tokens that you can give to your friends. These come with a seasonal pendant accessory that you can wear and keep, instantly gain 30 seasonal candles with an additional 1 to collect at home each day while the season is active, the opportunity to obtain the season's ultimate gifts, and gain access to locked cosmetics in each of the spirit trees. The seasonal spirits, excluding the quest giver spirit, return as traveling spirits in the future. When they do, all players have the opportunity to unlock their rewards without having to own the season pass using regular candles and hearts. The ultimate rewards and pendant does not return. Sky has many events throughout the year, and each brings new items and cosmetics that you can buy using real money and in-game currency. The Tournament of Triumph event that has currently passed offered a tunic that costs $9.99 on iOS or $7.99 on PlayStation. In previous events, I remember seeing some packs costing around $19.99. Sometimes the cost of these items vary in price depending on the event. Special packs have also been released recently. The Journey pack that arrived with the release of the game on the PlayStation 4 costs $24.99. That gets you the cape, hood, and call. The Moth and Sparrow Appreciation Pack costs $9.99, which gives you a mask and cape. Take note that prices for items are different depending on your region, so for some it's a little more costly than others. I recently noticed too that prices for items were a little cheaper on the PlayStation than on iOS or the Nintendo Switch. You can argue that players do not have to do candle runs and put ourselves under this pressure. It is entirely our choice to either collect everything in the game or not. We are free to play how we want. It isn't necessary to spend any money in Sky. You can easily play the game and complete the main story for free without spending anything. The only things locked are cosmetics. The design of the game, with the traveling spirits, limited timed events, and the expensive in-game items that you need regular candles and hearts to unlock them, is how TGC entices players to spend real money on candle packs so that they don't miss out on the cosmetics they want. If players can't afford those, they just have to put in the time doing daily candle runs and hope that they can get enough. Also, with the amount of money some of these cosmetic packs cost, you could spend that on a game that is on the sale on any gaming platform and get a great experience. I would actually recommend that over spending money on cosmetics. It's good to experience and try different games. If you don't want to spend it on games, then spend it on something that would benefit you. I just think that these cost way too much for what they are and should be cheaper. With the amount of items you can unlock in a season pass, that is far more worth it compared to how much a cape and mask pack are priced at. A lot of players like this game, and if AIPs were cheaper, I would think they would be more inclined to purchase them and TGC would make more sales. Another example of how ridiculous the prices of these candle packs are. Take the Prophet of Earth Traveling Spirit. They have a total of 12 items and you'll need 206 regular candles, 13 hearts and 2 ascended candles to fully unlock everything they have. If you have no in-game currency and logged in on the last day of their visit, and you were desperate to get their items without wanting to candle run, you would have to buy 2 packs of the 150 candles plus 40 hearts for £49.99 each. That is £100 for 300 candles and 80 hearts. If you didn't have AC, then you would have to run Eden if you hadn't been already in the week, or say if playing after Season of Shattering, need to go burn a red shard. £100 to unlock everything from the spirit is crazy. That's why players farm. Everyone is different though, and if you find value in these cosmetics, you are free to spend your money as you wish. If this is the only game you play, then maybe you can justify spending your money and showing your support to TGC. If I was to purchase something from TGC, it would be an art book or toy figures. They currently have an art book for pre-order, and that would set me back almost £100. But I think I would have to pay extra fees for delivery, tax and customs, so that has deterred me from making that purchase. The funny thing is, I normally don't care for cosmetics in games, but with Sky, because some are part of the realm constellations, I wanted them in order to get 100%. I came into this game with a traditional mindset to complete it, like I do with other games. As a free-to-play player, I want everything that I can get for free. I choose not to spend real money on cosmetics because I don't find value in them. Plus, with these online MMOs, who knows when their services will end. I always wonder of that day when Sky decides to end its service, and all those hundreds of pounds some Sky kids have spent over the last 5 years just vanishes into thin air. If that happens, I would hope that there would be an offline version so that we will still have access to them. So I feel that TGC's values and ethics clash because of the need to monetize the game. They need to find a good balance that is fair. Sky was made so that people can make meaningful connections with each other, for families of all ages to be able to play the game together. It was made available for free so that it was accessible for people of all ages to enjoy and experience. I think the issues of the game's free-to-play system that I've mentioned so far hinders what TGC are trying to achieve. Yes, I have made meaningful relationships, and positivity can be found within this game, but it has also created negative emotions and anxiety when it should be arousing positive emotions and experiences. When they speak about their game, it feels like it doesn't align with the total experience I've had. These problems don't exist with their previous games because they charge the one-off payment to play the game, and then you can play it as many times you want. I do think that the devs at TGC have good intentions. They are very talented people, and with it being a free-to-play game, I understand the need to make money to cover the costs that come with running a game studio and keeping the servers live. I wish they can find a way where they don't create that feeling of missing out on items if you can't play the game for a period of time. I want to be able to play at my own pace, to jump online when I feel like it. I do give some credit to TGC for not going down the route of having players watch adverts in the game. That would be a massive turn-off. I personally think something that would improve the experience of the game massively is that they should stop the travelling spirits from visiting randomly for every 2 weeks. Instead, make it so each season gets their own permanent constellation a few months after the season ends, so that it adds worth and an incentive to purchase the season pass when it is released. Or, instead of the constellation idea, with the recent inclusion of the Aviary Village, make past season items available at the shops, or be able to visit that particular spirit and unlock the items from them. This will allow players to play the game at their own pace, without having to worry about missing out on items. This will also give players the choice to either pay for a pass to gain access to cosmetics straight away and get the ultimate items that won't come back, or you can wait a few months and then slowly work your way to unlock the items using candles or hearts. This seems much fairer to me. I do think it's unfair that new players that missed out on previous seasons don't get the chance to unlock the ultimate cosmetics. TGC could sell those as AIPs either separately or as a season bundle, so they are available to everyone. I was recently playing Among Us, and I was thinking about how they implemented their in-game economy. After you play a round, you are rewarded with XP, which provides bonuses for beans and pods. You can use these beans and pods to redeem cosmetics. You can buy stars. These are their premium currency, which you can purchase with money, and with these you can spend them on cosmic cubes. These cubes have branching paths containing cosmetics that can be unlocked by activating the cube and then playing games to receive pods specific to that cube. Cubes can be available for a few weeks or months, which gives you time to purchase them if you choose to. Plus, some of these cubes can be bought using beans. These are fairly easy to obtain with your beans after playing a few rounds. Nothing feels like a chore in Among Us, as you are having fun playing the game. The cosmetics are secondary and don't dominate the game. I wonder if something similar could work in Sky, where you can do fun activities that are related to Sky, of course, and afterwards you are rewarded with light. Once you complete the main story in Sky, there is only so much you can do afterwards, which then, collecting cosmetics from the constellation and TS becomes the primary focus. New seasons help out to keep things fresh, but they still rely on doing dailies and candle runs to unlock cosmetics. Currently in Sky, there are some permanent activities available to do that reward you with light, like playing the song of the day, doing the black shard, grandma, the geyser, the turtle, and burning the balls at the social areas found throughout the realms. The problem with these are that the song, black shard, and turtle only rewards you once in the day, and the others have a collective wax limit, so you can go back a couple of times, but the wax will eventually stop. Apart from playing the song, they all have the same mechanic, which is burning something, and this isn't fun because it gets repetitive and boring. The geyser, grandma, and turtle are timed events that occur every 2 hours, so you have to plan to play on a specific hour to visit them. This is a constraint. You should be able to play when you want and be able to get this wax. I thought the sports in the recent Tournament of Triumph event were fun activities as they were different, but they did get repetitive after a while too. Also, some events like Days of Sunlight have small activities to do, like fishing, but they don't reward you with that much. Recently, there has been the addition of the daily order that is located in the Avery's Cafe. Here, you sit at a table for a minute and wait for your cinnamon roll to arrive, which upon collecting gives you a large amount of wax. I think this is a cool inclusion because it gives players a chance to chat as they wait, which may lead to new friendships being formed. But again, this is once a day and just becomes another box to check. I have noticed TGC implementing new things to try help Sky Kids collect wax a bit easier so they don't need to go on candle runs, but there is still the issue of trying to get enough candles and hearts to unlock in-game items. So, after 6 months of playing Sky, I was nowhere near completing the constellations, so the only way to make things quicker was to start another account using my mobile. I got this idea from a few friends who had alternative accounts. They dragged their alts on candle runs so they could send hearts to their main account and trade with their friends. Others needed to pay off a deal as soon as they could, because they had agreed with another player to give them a certain amount of hearts in exchange for a season pass. These deals happened a lot between players on Discord. I can't remember correctly, but a friend agreed to something in the range of 100 to 150 hearts for a season pass. I thought this was crazy because that required a lot of trust with a player you met on Discord, plus getting that amount of hearts would take forever. I really didn't want to resort to making an alternative account on my mobile, but for me, to get 100% quicker, I needed to have a constant flow of hearts and to be able to trade hearts with others by sending hearts from my alt to them and they would return them to my main. So I made one and dragged it along on my candle runs. It's a bit of a pain because you have to control them at the same time, but at least I could make progress. Out of my generosity, I always sent hearts to my closest friends on Sky and told them that they do not need to return one. I was happy to help my friends in my constellation as I knew the struggle they are going through to unlock the things they want. After 1 year of playing every day and finding many people to trade hearts with, I finally completed the constellations 100%. Did I stop playing when I got 100% like I had planned to? Nope, because I wanted to get the tier 2 capes. I didn't feel like it was a true 100%, and I wanted to get the majority of items from the travelling spirits. As much as I hated the repetitive nature of the game, I did look forward to checking out the upcoming seasons and events, because some were really cool. With playing every day, you learn the game inside out, all of the tricks, and you notice a lot of bugs and issues that makes your Sky experience very frustrating and unenjoyable. There have been server splits ever since I've started playing, where you are running with friends and then they would suddenly disappear. This disrupts gameplay and you both end up not knowing what to do, as you have no contact with them. So you both return home and attempt to teleport back to each other, which can cause confusion, then teleport back to where you last were to resume your activity. Sometimes this can happen a few times within an hour. It's such a pain and it wastes time. I get the lost connection issue a lot too, where the Wi-Fi symbol appears. This always splits me up from friends. I'm pretty sure that it's not my internet connection because everything else connected to my internet is working fine. After every update, more or less, new bugs will appear, and on a few occasions, game-breaking ones. TGC issue bug fixes in these updates, only for new ones to take their place. As of making this video, which is after the patch that arrived on 22nd of August 2024, the servers are currently very unstable, with players not being able to collect event tickets, do their dailies to collect season candles, and being met with constant pop-up boxes regarding the server issues. I experienced these pop-up boxes myself during this period, and I came across a glitch when trying to purchase an item from the Season of Duets quest giver. I had spent my candles on getting the hair accessory, but the transaction didn't work and it gave me all my candles back. I returned home and all my candles started disappearing. The transaction had eventually taken place and it unlocked the item. When I was doing the second quest of Season of Duets, just before finishing it, the game crashed both on PlayStation 4 and iOS. I logged in sometime at the beginning of August and the game was acting very slow. When I've gone to trigger the dailies, it was loading them up very slowly. One of the dailies was to meditate at the stone located near the koi pond. After I left a message, it didn't pop up with the completed daily task. This same thing happened to me last time we had to do the daily meditation stone. I had to delete my message and rewrite it again for it to work. This just wastes my time. When I've gone to claim my daily season candles at the home meditation stone, it wouldn't trigger and award me. I've logged in a few times and clicked the exclamation mark icon and it wouldn't trigger. I was spamming it trying to get it to work, but it wouldn't register. When I've been collecting wax on my runs, it wasn't registering it, so I had to log off and back on again, then redo my candle run. Recently, there has been a bug at Grandma's, where the balls spawn high above the table and you can't burn them. This hasn't been fixed for a while and a lot of players visit Grandma so they don't have to candle run. When I was in Hidden Forest, I found a Sky Kid that had lost their light, crying in the water, rain pouring down on them. I spoke to them and they said they were upset about Grandma not feeding them. This scene was quite hilarious, but I understand how frustrating it is and I felt their pain. I still experience a bug that has been in the game since I started playing. This is where you are in the prairie butterfly fields, holding hands with a friend, and as you leave and load into the caves area, your friend isn't there holding your hand. They are still stuck in the butterfly field. This happens a lot in and around Daylight Prairie. There was one time where part of the island in Sanctuary Island had disappeared. There was a literal hole that you could fly into the inner workings and construction of the map. I actually didn't mind this because you could use it as a shortcut to get to the other side of the island without having to chibi fall under the map. But really, this shouldn't be happening. Talking of the chibi fall, I do find this fascinating. The chibi fall, or chibi drop as I like to call it, is a trick you can do if you are using the stealth stance and wearing the chibi mask. If you find some ground that is sloped, using the stepping hoop control that allows you to make small steps, you can take a step into the slope and hold the position, and with the directional pad, you continue to hold the direction you want to go and let go of the stepping hoop, and you can glitch or fall under the map. This trick is amazing because you can explore how the map is formed, and it's a great way to speed up your daily candle runs because you can do shortcuts. It's especially useful in the Vault of Knowledge because you can go under the 4-person doors and don't have to wait for players to help you open it. TGC are most probably aware of this, but I'm glad they haven't patched it because it's actually a really unique feature. I have no idea if it was intentional or not, but it's one of my favourite things about the game. Back to the issues, I've encountered many bugs when I've gone to Eden. After turning into a statue, the game will bug out and the screen will turn into something where it looks like you are looking through a telescope, and the game won't load to the next screen. I've also experienced a problem when flying up to orbit, where my Sky Kid would fall short to trigger the cutscene and I would be flying around the sky above the whirlwind with debris. I don't have enough energy to fly up into orbit, so you get stuck. You end up having to restart the game and you continue where you left off. Also, with Eden, when I go with a friend, you can get split from them, so that ruins your journey and experience with them. This can happen a lot. Game-breaking bugs have happened in the past too. There was one time where Android users couldn't log into the game and it took a while to resolve. I've experienced many crashes too on the PlayStation 4 since I started playing on this platform, and some bugs whilst doing season quests that stop you from completing the task. The accumulation of these issues makes me lose motivation to play Sky. It's not enjoyable and it ruins the overall experience. It's really made me angry sometimes. These are only issues that I've come across, but in the Discord channel, I've seen many other players complain about bugs that I've never experienced before, so the game is littered with them. There's a lot of gameplay improvements that could be made too. With the doors where you need 4 or 8 players to open, you can be waiting up to 5 minutes or more for players to help you. Some players chibi drop under and don't even bother waiting to help you. I would only chibi drop under a door if no one is around, and if there are some players around, I would wait and see if they want to open the doors. I don't know if this is possible, but it would be great if the doors opened if you have been waiting for a period of time, so you don't feel punished for waiting. Players had been asking for a feature to skip cutscenes for years, because after playing the game after a few months, you soon get tired of having to watch and physically skip them when on candle runs. The cutscenes in Vault when going up the levels interrupts you as you are flying, so you are left flying blind and you end up in some random place. Thankfully, in the recent 22nd of August update, they introduced a feature to skip cutscenes, and it's such a relief to be able to fly without interruptions. I would like to see better organization for the emotes, stances and spells. As the game has grown, there are many emotes now, and when you want to try find a particular emote to express yourself in a situation, you are left trying to find the correct one, and by the time you find it, the moment has passed. In the 22nd of August update, TGC introduced a new favorites menu, so you can put in up to 8 of your most used expressions or an item like the camera, and these can be quickly accessed and used by holding down L2 and selecting one. This will be very useful when making a shared memory, so this is a much welcomed update. It would be good if we could see all our friends in the constellation. I have added many friends over the years, and sometimes I can't see that they're online because they are hidden. It would be good to be able to light everyone too at the same time, or even select a batch and then send light to them, as it can take 2 to 5 minutes going into all of my friends to light them one by one when I log in. TGC implemented the new feature in the 22nd of August update, where you can unfriend players in your constellation. I think this was a good move, as before you could only block them. This allows you to remove anyone that you don't get on with or have blocked. However, I've seen players on Discord say they will be unfriending players that don't log in anymore, or remove random moths, and I think this is sad because you never know in the future. They may log in and you could catch up with them, or with the moths, develop a friendship with them. On the PlayStation, the icons above players get in the way of trying to interact with other spirits or icons. For example, when trying to pick up event currency, you end up clicking the wrong thing because it flashes between the two. That gets very frustrating. TGC should also communicate more in-game about issues and events. Not everyone has Discord or follows them on social media. This is something they have been working on, but I would still like to see more. I really think the way to obtain hearts need to be easier, or hugely lower the costs of items that need a ridiculous amount of hearts. In recent updates, TGC removed the system of getting a heart for a certain amount of likes at the stones and introduced shared memories and shared spaces, where players can now send hearts to any player at the cost of 3 regular candles, even if they're not friends, to show their love for their creations. Player creation heart gifts can be given in addition to regular heart gifts on the same day if 2 players are already friends, and only a max of 1 heart can be sent through creations a day. I think this is a cool idea because it takes away the need to get 50 or 10 likes, which really didn't work unless you made agreements with friends to hunt and like them. They encourage players to show their love for each other's creations. The downside is that it now relies on players to spend regular candles to send a heart, and with the problem of the game's in-game economy, will lower the possibility of getting hearts because the majority of players will want to save their candles. Friends are required to gain hearts. If you are a solo player and don't want to make friends, the only way to collect hearts are to complete quests in each season and buying them using regular candles from the constellations and travelling spirits. However, you will eventually collect all of these obtainable hearts, and then you'll have to rely on random players to send you hearts from your shared spaces or memories. That's if you choose to create them. I find it odd that hearts are supposed to be sent to friends to show how much you value them, but instead, these expensive items create the desperate need for hearts, leading players to beg and offer to trade hearts. On Discord, the unofficial Sky servers have channels where you can go to find heart trades. It defeats the purpose of why hearts were implemented in the first place. I guess it does bring players that are in the same boat together, which could lead to forming friendships. I will give a shout out to the Sky community because through all these problems in the game, players still play on and are willing to help each other out. It would be good if TGC could skip a season or 2 to take a break from pushing out content continuously and focus on fixing all the ongoing bugs, to update and improve features that are currently in the game. It has grown much bigger since its launch, and I feel like they need to spend some time to re-examine everything, make necessary changes and quality of life improvements. Focus solely on these before developing new seasons. I'm sure the community would really appreciate the game if it worked smoothly. There is a beta version of the game where players have access to upcoming content to test and leave feedback to TGC, but I never understand how these bugs aren't ironed out before they go live. It's like the beta and live version of the game are 2 different builds. What's the point of a beta if you still release updates with bugs? I will give some credit to TGC for listening and engaging with the community, especially through Discord in particular. If you do come across any bugs or glitches, you can report them. A problem with this is that it can be time-consuming to follow the procedure to submit them, especially when you constantly encounter bugs. You end up getting fed up with reporting them. Once they confirm problems, they release hotfixes and patches as soon as they can. They are active, which is a good thing for an MMO. I guess it's in their interest anyway to keep things working. Otherwise, no one will play and they will lose money. Also, you can leave feedback in their Discord feedback channel, where you can say what you like, dislike, and how you think the game can be improved, which I have done many times. I have seen TGC address some of our feedback and made changes in-game, although it does seem to take a rather long time to see them implemented. For example, in January 2023, there was an update in the beta version of the game that included the new Days of Bloom items, and this saw the estimated price of the cape jump up from the previous year from 105 to 120 candles, with the cape from the previous year returning for 70 candles. Along with the cape was a nectar feeder that was estimated to cost 100 candles. This really upset the majority of Sky players and led to many complaints and rants about the game's in-game economy. Even the well-known Sky YouTuber Nasty Mold made a rant about it. I think because of this rant, it encouraged players to leave feedback. TGC heard our complaints and addressed the situation. Sometime after, in a later update, they made changes. They introduced groups of travelling spirits that would arrive for longer than the normal travelling spirit would, a week instead of 4 days, sometimes with extra candle cakes available around the realms to help you gain some candles. The existing travelling spirit would still visit every 2 weeks too. They attempted to alleviate the pressure of collecting candles by introducing event currency for event items. Instead of using regular candles to unlock items, you could collect a number of tickets that were available to find each day, and once you get enough over the length of the event, you could use them to claim items. In further updates, they allowed players to spend regular candles to buy tickets in case they couldn't find event tickets on the day or didn't log in for a few days. I was happy that TGC acknowledged our concerns and attempted to make changes based off our feedback, although I was complaining about the game's economy soon after I started playing this game. Sometimes they offer compensation to make up for these major issues that have disrupted players from collecting seasonal candles and racks. I remember picking up lots of AC from the boat at home one time, and if I remember correctly, TGC put on a double currency event so players could collect season candles they missed out on because of not being able to access the game. The event ticket system they introduced is good because it takes away the stress of candle running, although you do have to log in every day to collect tickets, but this doesn't take long. Currently, the visits of grouped travelling spirits have seemed to have stopped. They would come around every month or visit during certain events, but I haven't seen them arrive lately. I did see players complaining that it was adding pressure on them to do candle runs because they wanted to get everything from all of them, but the idea of the groups was that they were to visit more regularly. So if you couldn't afford something on their first visit, you could get them in the next visit. This system was better than what we were getting with the one travelling spirit visiting every 2 weeks, but I fully understand the complaints made by some players. This is why I still stand by my idea of having them permanently available in-game sometime after the season ends, or their items available in a shop in the Avery village. The only reason I can think why TGC won't introduce something like this is because it might cause players to play for less amount of time and thus lead to a drop in spending. There have been many welcomed features. This includes the camera prop, which was introduced in the Season of Moments. Playing on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, the console screenshots snap the game's UI and HUD, and you can't really control the angles, so it was great to have the in-game camera to gain control and to remove these issues. I do wish that we could get more control with the camera, because I do find it a bit clunky to use. I loved the introduction of swimming in the Season of Abyss. This reminded me of Abzu, and it's so gorgeous to swim underwater and explore the depths. Another brilliant feature TGC added was the festival tech. This was introduced in the season of Aurora, which has got to be one of my most favourite seasons to date. The ability to experience a concert with 10,000 other players online at the same time was simply incredible and amazing. You can use 4 emotes that everyone can see and hear whilst inside the festival tech, and this allowed everyone to engage and participate in the concert. This created some spectacular scenes in the end song Queendom, and also saw players organising flash mobs in between concerts. You could also become other creatures found throughout the game in the concert, like fish and butterflies, which was great to control. The quests for this season were really good too. This was the most fun that I've had during my time playing Sky. Maps can now be found in each area, and this will reveal where you haven't found any winged lights, and in the current update, it will reveal where spirits are located for daily spirit quests. This is helpful because when you had lost winged light, you would have to do the winged light run to find the area it returned to. But with the map, you can quickly see where you haven't picked up winged light and head straight there to search the location. My issue with the map is that it's purely visual. This makes it a bit vague because there is no text on the map to name the areas. You have to remember the landscape or a standout landmark within that area so you know where to go. TGC should add more information like the names of the areas and how many winged lights that can be found in each realm. The seasons where Sky collaborate with other franchises are very cool. Season of the 9-Colored Deer introduced a beautiful area and I really loved the music for this season. TGC do a good job of implementing these franchises within the world of Sky. Events have become much more engaging. For example, in Days of Mischief, there is the ability to change into a crab, which I think is really fun, and I think it's refreshing to explore the realms of Sky as another creature. Then again, there have been some features introduced that I don't like. This is more of a personal opinion really. Season of Shattering is one of my least favourite seasons for 2 reasons. I hate burning plants, and this was constant burning plants with the chance to lose your winged lights in the process. They also introduced the crawling mechanic, which I hate too. When you lose your light, you go to the ground and start crawling. It was very slow at first to crawl out of danger, and you have to rely on a Sky Kid to light you so you can stand up. When you lost light before, all a Sky Kid needed to do was deep crawl, and they would recharge you. It's more difficult to get up when you get knocked down by the red rocks in Eden, which made it harder to deposit all your winged lights into the statues. I have no idea why they introduced this. I heard many veteran players complain how easy Eden was, so I assume TGC created this feature to please them. I guess it does add to the lore, give players a challenge and allows them to work together, but I still prefer the older way. This put me off from going Eden each week, so I stopped going. I only went once or twice a year. It was becoming time consuming to run Eden each week and then do the wing light run afterwards. With Eden run, wing light runs, candle runs and doing the same old dailies, the game became a chore and unenjoyable. The one positive that came out of the season was that shards continued to fall regularly after the season ended, and we can burn these shards to gain ascended candles without having to go to Eden. As I stopped going Eden, this was a nice way to gain some AC. I persevered through the burnouts and continued playing continuously for 3 years, doing the full candle run and dailies for roughly 2 years. There came a point where I couldn't find the time to do this, plus I wanted to spend my time playing other games. My backlog of games grew larger because I was using all my free time to play Sky. So I decided to cut down to only getting 10 candles a day and doing dailies. This still felt like a chore, and with encountering some of the issues that I've mentioned previously, I didn't enjoy playing the game anymore. I considered quitting so many times, but I couldn't bring myself to, because I knew I would miss the friends that I had made. I could have kept contact with them on Discord, but it's not the same as playing with them in Sky. Some aren't even on Discord, and Sky is the only way to communicate with them. Having spent so much time on this game, it felt difficult to let go of it too. I then chose to cut down my daily routine even further, only coming on for dailies and collecting the 4 large candle cakes that appear in the realm each day. This helped a bit, but when events were on, collecting event currencies starts to add on extra time playing. Then Season of Revival came along, and this really bothered me to the point where I was fed up with the game. Overall, I didn't like the way how the Aviary had been implemented into the game as a season. This was a massive change to the base core of the game. As an existing player, they originally said if you didn't complete the season, then you will miss out on future events. There was a firework event planned at the end of Season of Revival, and it was locked behind doing Quest 4, which was an Eden run. I had done Eden roughly 2 weeks before this quest, and I didn't want to go Eden again anytime soon. I don't like going because it's long, I hate the crawling mechanism, and I always encounter a bug after I turn into a statue and have to restart the game. Having events locked behind a quest is wrong in my opinion. I watched someone on YouTube complete the quest, and there was nothing different with the Eden run to justify going, apart from the fact that you will unlock future events and complete the Aviary. You still ended up being reborn at home, which I expected to be reborn into the Aviary, as this was going to be the new area players would start when they first play. So you had to return to the Aviary from home and watch a cutscene to complete the quest. The last time there was a run through Eden as part of a quest was in the Season of the Little Prince, but at least the Little Prince was inside Eden. The hopeful steward of Season of Revival was nowhere to be seen. I also read in the patch notes back then that the upcoming Days of Feast content will only be available to everyone that had completed at least the 4th quest of this season. This was not fair. Season of Revival was basically making existing players restart the game, but without having to go through all the realms apart from Eden. It would have been good to give those that have done Eden already a pass to complete the quest, just like how the quest was completed in Quest 5 and 6 if you had already completed those previous seasons' quests with those spirits. This season was basically compulsory. I think if the Aviary is a reimagined area for home, and the base game is changing, then maybe a huge major update would have been better instead of dragging it out over a season. For example, when the player logs in after installing the major update, they will either spawn at the Aviary and home is gone altogether, or even the home we know it as grows or changes into the Aviary, so the home area still exists within the Aviary. New players would have to run through the base game, and existing players could be given the choice whether to run Eden or skip Eden because they have already done it plenty of times, which then shows the cutscene afterwards. If they want to make everyone do Eden for the sake of experiencing the updated story, then Eden should have at least been a different experience than a normal basic run. I did understand that there would probably be a massive backlash if home was removed, as many people have become so accustomed to it. I prefer home over the Aviary myself. It would have been a bold decision if home was removed, but at least it would then bring an entire focus to the Aviary as the central hub and streamline everything into one, and make sense within the story of the game. An issue with the current implementation is that home seems like it will not be focused on anymore, whereas the Aviary will develop and become the main hub like home used to be with events happening there. So after a month of refusing to go, a friend forced me to go with them through Eden, so we both completed the quest. After the Aviary was implemented, the following weeks were a bit of a mess. Candles that appeared outside the realms to indicate where candle cakes were didn't appear in the Aviary. I still use home as my home space, so when I was logging in, the candles that can be found around the pond and next to where you change cosmetics had disappeared, but sometimes the wax was lit and you could just see it floating. You have the choice to set where you'll begin when launching Sky. Either you can stay at the original home or select to start in the Aviary. An issue with this is that if some friends have the aviary set as their home and others have it set on the original home, when you all return home after running together, you will be split and it could create frustration trying to meet up all together again. You would have to make a plan in advance. Having the two homes is inconvenient, and it removes the whole idea of the aviary being a main hub. After this season ended, I just had enough of everything and the choices TGC were making, so I stopped logging in every day. I came back online when the season of nesting started, just did the main quests and pick up 4 candle cakes, then came offline. I wasn't bothered with this season at all, and only did the simple dailies where you can do them at home. I didn't care for the furniture or the nest. I did notice when returning that TGC had made it so events weren't locked behind completing Quest 4 of Season of Revival, which I am glad they changed their mind. I assume they got many other complaints about this and listened. As I haven't done Quest 4 of Season of Revival with my alt account, the only things I don't have access to are the candles that are scattered around the aviary. There are no spirits hanging around, nor are the shops decorated inside. I can accept that, and I am still able to participate in all events. It was only up until SkyFest 2024 that I started to log in every day again just to collect event tickets and check out all the different events and the SkyFest cinema. I actually really liked this event. It was very fun seeing giant Oreos, the spirits celebrating and watching the presentations at the SkyFest cinema. It was interesting to view these presentations to learn the history of Sky and the devs' thought processes. The keynote by Genova Chen revealed some features they are currently working on. Some of the most voted quality of life improvements mentioned in the keynote, like being able to skip cutscenes, more emote organization methods, and removing friends from our constellations, have been implemented already in the latest 22nd of August patch. He mentioned they were developing other features, like options to organize friends in the constellation, less repetitive candle runs, more daily quest types, matchmaking improvements, and better in-game communication of upcoming events. Also, there is something they are calling Relationship 2.0, which will update how we connect with spirits in the game. Spirits will give quests to players, which will reveal more lore in the long term, and you'll be able to level up trust with them and unlock unique rewards. They will also implement more variety of quest types. There will be a new friend relationship tree that will provide lower tier emote abilities and different ways to grow the relationship tree. I'm pleased to hear of these changes TGC are making, and I really hope it does improve the game massively. The galleries in the Isle of Dawn and the Hidden Forest were a really great experience too. It was a great idea to have an interactive gallery within the game. I stayed online further to do the Season of Duets quests, and I also participated in the Tournament of Triumph. Season of Duets has been good so far, but as I mentioned earlier, I came across a problem where I couldn't complete one of the quests because of the game crashing. The Tournament of Triumph event annoyed me because they assigned all players a team colour, either red, yellow, green or blue, at the beginning of the event to add a bit of friendly competitiveness. But over the event, blue team won gold almost every day, then green got silver, red bronze, and yellow always came last. This is simply because blue had the most players assigned to their team, and then green, red, then yellow. So it was unfair and removed any competitiveness to be had. In the end, there was no motivation to try and win for your team. You just played in order to collect your event currency. Also, within the 4 sports that alternated between 2 different ones each day, TGC limited the cape energy to a few wings in order to give everyone a fair chance, but seemed to forget that players could still hold hands, use piggyback and carry, and pull out the white candle so you can get unlimited energy. Even just holding hands slowly charges players. This gave those that did this an advantage, and some players within the server refused to participate in the race when they saw players do this. I don't understand why TGC overlooked this. I'm glad there wasn't a prize for the winning team because everyone would have been furious. The positives I liked about this event was that you could collect 2 event tickets a day, plus 25 event tickets were available in the first half of the event and another 25 in the second half. These could be obtained after completing a round of sport, so you could collect as much event tickets at your own pace, up to the limit. This gave players the choice to farm them all in one day, or to spread them out over the length of the event. So let's wrap up this video. Currently, I am considering whether to quit Sky altogether, or to only log in to do the season quests when I feel like it. When I had stopped logging in every day, I didn't really miss playing that much. It freed up a lot of my time to do other things and play other games. And I didn't feel stressed about having to do candle runs and dailies. Once you've explored everything in Sky and are left doing dailies and candle runs, it becomes a chore, boring and repetitive. Events add some relief because they are entertaining, and season quests give you something to do. But normally a quest unlocks every 2 weeks, and sometimes these can be really short-lived. Chilling and talking with friends is probably the best thing about logging into Sky, and this is what I would miss the most if I quit. I think I have reached a point now where I'm content with not playing anymore, but as TGC slowly makes changes, I would be curious to see the state of the game in the future. There are many positives to this game. At the time I started playing, I wasn't in a good place mentally. I had cut a lot of people out of my life, and this game helped me meet new people online that I eventually became good friends with. It helped me overcome feeling low, and as a shy and introverted person, the game gave me a platform to grow my confidence in talking to new people. It really took me out of my comfort zone. Within the first year of playing, one of my friends that I had met in Sky and ran together every day gifted me a season pass. This was their way to say thank you to me for supporting and helping them with their personal problems that they were battling through in real life. For a game to bring random people together from different countries and allow us to develop a meaningful friendship is simply wonderful. The game is a great platform to encourage compassion, spread love and positivity. I couldn't believe it when my Sky friend gifted me this pass. She knew my thoughts about spending money on this game too. I will always cherish that moment, and I am glad to have this platform to be able to help others and bring positivity. There are many other great things to experience in Sky, like the storytelling in some of the seasons are awesome, the Sky world and the players, the graphics and soundtrack, the ability to play music on instruments, using expressions and the events. This is why I love playing Sky. I thank TGC for making this game and providing some special memories. I can say that TGC have achieved what they set out to do with this game, but sadly, it falls short because of their choice to go down the free-to-play live service model. This has created negative emotions, caused anxiety, anger and frustration in players because of the design of the game's economy system, the constant bugs, server issues and the lack of quality of life improvements. This is why I hate Sky. Players could alleviate the pressures of candle running in order to unlock cosmetics by just not doing it. We aren't forced to, but Sky is a socially interactive game and cosmetics are a major part of expressing your avatar within the game. It's what makes players unique. I just really hope TGC can improve the problems I've raised throughout this video. I encourage players to leave critical feedback in Sky's official Discord. There is a dedicated feedback channel where you can leave your thoughts, and TGC claim that they read these. Write down all your issues and how they make you feel, but also provide your thoughts and ideas on how you think it could be made better. Give possible solutions. Be thoughtful and respectful with your response. The devs are human too. Would I recommend playing Sky Children of the Light to those that haven't played this game before? I would say only play it if you can resist falling into the trap of farming for light to unlock cosmetics. Meeting and interacting with other players in the game is what makes this game special. If you can play through the main story and do all the season quests, along with participating in events, there is a great experience to be had. There is the possibility that bugs could hinder your experience, but you should be fine. To current players, if you aren't enjoying the game and not happy with how things currently are, leave feedback, and I would suggest taking a break from logging in to see how that makes you feel. I know the thought of missing out on cosmetics can really play on your mind, but in the end, a game should be enjoyable to play and not cause FOMO, stress and anxiety. If TGC see player numbers drop, they will be forced to make changes. Why should players have to put up with these constant issues? So I think that's everything I wanted to say. There are probably many other things that I could talk about, but what I've stated in the video were my main points. If you managed to reach this point in the video, I really appreciate your time watching. I'd like to thank all my Sky friends and those I've randomly met for all the fun memories and help you've provided over the years. Without you, I wouldn't have got 100% in the constellations and my Sky experience wouldn't have been as great, so thank you. If you play Sky, I would like to hear your experiences. Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? What do you think can be done to make Sky better? Leave your comments down below. I'll do my best to read and respond to them. Please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.